And if we do the math, with their goal of making $400,000 profit per year, they would only need about 200 membership signups for the $2,000 a year offer. A few years ago, I was working as a salesman selling a product with a very bad reputation, but I was able to turn it around and make it something so useful that people started coming to me looking for it. And today I help companies do the same. So if you're in a situation where you're making a lot of sales, closing a lot of deals, but never making any significant profit from it, well, stick to the end of this video because I'm going to show you exactly how you can increase your profit margins without any additional investment, only using a sales and pricing strategy. I'm going to use a real life business to do it. And the business that I chose for today's case study is from a show called The Profits, Season 2, Episode 7. And first, we're going to look at what the business does and understand exactly how they're experiencing this problem that we're about to solve. But I'm going to move on to explain exactly how I would increase this company's profit margins without any additional investments, only a sales and pricing strategy. And by the end of this video, we're going to compare the improvements actually made on the business and the resulting offer and strategy from today's exercise.
On The Profit, Amazing Grapes is a wine bar and retail shop, the brainchild of a real estate developer who seems more interested in sipping than selling.
This is ridiculous.
Even with more than $3.5 million in sales this past year, Amazing Grapes is operating at a loss and still can't pay down their mounting debt. This is a business without leadership or direction.
I wish that you had passion for the business. You wouldn't be losing money.
If I can't find somebody from within to take over Amazing Grapes, today, Amazing Grapes sells some of the finest wines in the world. And while the business generates about $3.5 million in revenue, last year they lost money.
We have never seen a profit from this store in the 9 years we've been open.
And haven't even made a dent in paying down a debt that's well over $500,000. There are 17 employees at Amazing Grapes, but without a strategy to generate sales and increase profit margins, this business will be done before the end of the year.
You're selling wine too cheap. Let me stop.
Wow.
I couldn't believe how much inventory was in this place. Sometimes too much selection is awful.
How are you? I'm Marcus.
How you doing? Brian, pleasure.
Brian,
Welcome.
nice to meet you.
You too.
That's a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be.
1,800 different SKUs of wine in this space.
Is that what's in here, 1,800?
The layout of the bar makes absolutely no sense. It's literally hidden in the corner of the business. And what else is odd is I feel like I'm standing in two different businesses. I mean, you're paying rent for this square footage, but you're failing to actually capitalize on the fact that it's there. We want our patrons at the bar to actually get up and buy a bottle or a case of whatever wine they were just drinking. It's common sense to have the bar help drive retail sales. But you can't do it if it's clear across the other side of the room. The bar and restaurant has the highest margins in the entire business at nearly 40%. And it makes up 14% of the revenue. The problem is it only makes up 10% of the square footage. I want to focus on the high margin business, the bar and restaurant, and minimize the amount of space dedicated to the low margin business, the wine, walk-in retail business. I know that if I can add tables and chairs, my margins will go up immediately. But as an owner, you have to be there to connect the dots. I want to increase the amount of seating in the wine bar. My goal is to have the wine bar contribute an additional $1 million of revenue a year. At a 40% margin, that would result in $400,000 of additional profit.
Things are going to change.
So to save these businesses profit margins, just like on the last case study, we're going to use Alex Olmos' market offer skills framework. But for a quick recap, the whole principle is that when you're working in a crazy good market, you won't need an incredibly good offer, no sales skills to be able to make money. But if your market is average, then you would need an incredibly good offer and so on. If your market is average, your offer is average, you would need incredibly good sales skills to be able to be profitable. And relying on your sales skill is the last thing that you want to do. Just like conversely, being able to rely on a good market will be the best thing for you. And that's why first we're going to start by making sure that this business is operating in the best market for it. And secondly, we're going to improve the value of their offer in this new and best market to be able to command the highest prices and be able to make the largest profit margins we could possibly make with this business. So that's the whole overview guide of how we're going to improve this business. Now, to position your business in a market that is so good that you wouldn't need an extraordinary offer for it to prosper. What you need to do is you need to find the largest group of people who would benefit the most from your business's unique strength. Let me say that again. To find the best market for your business to operate in, where you would need an extraordinary offer to make profit, you need to find the largest group of people who would benefit the most from your unique strength. So this actually comes from a world principle for maximum impact, which is that to cause the maximum damage on your enemy's camp, you shouldn't go strength for strength, which is the conventional way that most people think about fighting, right? My strength against your strength, and we're going to see who's the strongest. But in successful warfare, what you need to do is to aim your strength at your enemy's weakness. Not go strength for strength, cannon for cannon, but strength for weakness. So in a street fight, that would translate to something like going for the eyes, the throat, or your parts, right? Which are easy weaknesses on which any level of strength will cause a lot of damage. And so applying your maximum strength to the weak parts of whatever it is that you're trying to take down is how you successfully do it. And in the business world, or in the world of value exchange, this translates into using your particular strength or using the one skill or one unique advantage that your business has, and to find a group of people that are the most receptive, the most vulnerable, or that are the most in need of that particular thing that you are the best at, or that you are the only one to be able to offer them. So now in the case of this particular business, there's two unique features that stand out as their unique capacities or their unique offer. The number one is the fact that it's a wine bar coupled with the capacity to go and take whole bottles of whatever we were tasting. As you saw from the clips earlier, the wine bar is the most lucrative part of their entire business. So already it seems obvious that leaning on this particular strength is going to increase their revenues and their profit margins. And the second strength, the second particular unique strength that this business has is that they have a wide variety of different wines that to wine enthusiasts can become a real source of excitement and discovery at every meal. Now, what's the largest group of people that are the most receptive or most in need of these two unique strengths that we just aligned from this business? Now, if you simply said wine enthusiasts, you won't be wrong. We should be only scratching the surface. What you need to do is narrow your aim even further. And you do that by asking this question a second time. So if amongst the general population, wine enthusiasts stood out as the people that are the most susceptible or the most vulnerable or the most in need for the particular strength that this business has to offer, the second time that we ask this question, what we say is, amongst wine enthusiasts, who are the most in need of the two particular strengths that this business has to offer? Well, it's beginners. Beginner wine enthusiasts are the perfect segment for this particular business and their particular strengths. Why? Because we saw earlier that the store has a wide variety of different wines, but most of which are just cheap wines. So for real experienced wine enthusiasts, it might just be a curiosity or something that they might want to try one time to explore this wide variety or whatever. But otherwise, it's nothing special whatsoever. It's a bunch of cheap wines. But for beginners, on the other hand, this wide variety is exactly what they need to train their palate, to be able to recognize the different quality of wines and build up their own preferences. And for that purpose, this business is perfect. Okay, so now that you understand how important it is to really narrow down on the profile of person that your business can help the most, what do you think is the next step? That's right. A third time. We're going to ask a third time, amongst beginner wine enthusiasts, who are the most susceptible, vulnerable, or receptive, or the most in need of the unique strengths that this business has to offer? Now, don't worry, because for this third and final time that we're asking this question, the answer is and should always be the same, and that is the rich ones. No matter who or what segment it is that you're planning on serving, if your goal is to increase your profit margins, you need to serve the rich ones. Why is that? Because rich people care more about the value that they're getting than they do about the money that's in their pocket. So if you're able to perceive and deliver exactly what value or what satisfaction a group of affluent people are looking to have, they'll pay you a premium for it with no problem. Money is not a problem for them. Their problem is for somebody to figure out what they actually need, whether it's for their own satisfaction or whether it's for a problem that they have, but for somebody to be able to deliver it So that's how you place your product into a market where your product or your service would do so well that you won't need an extraordinary offer. It's by asking this question 3 times, narrowing down on the exact profile of people that would find your business, your strength, your particular setting the most useful. And by doing this exercise, you basically automatically come up with a blue ocean with a very high barrier to entry, because there's not many two businesses that have the exact same particular settings. And if the market that you're able to find is a market that only exists for your settings, you have a blue ocean. Not only a blue ocean, but one with a very high barrier to entry. And so that's it for the first step, right? Finding the right market for your product. So we're going to serve rich, beginner, wine enthusiast. Okay, so now that we found the ideal market for this business's particular settings, we're going to increase the value of our offer to this market so that we can capture the largest profits we can from this. And serving rich people is a matter of giving them everything you can to help them reach or achieve their internal desires. While the general market would just be satisfied in using your products or your service as is, rich people will require additional help to make it easier, quicker, and better quality. Rich people have these additional convenience requirements that they're absolutely ready to pay for. All they care about is to actually get those things. Now, I've already made a whole case study demonstrating how to do this and increase the value of your offer to serve rich people, which you can find in the description. But today we're going to look at a more sophisticated way to increase the value of your offer. More sophisticated because this is only applicable to businesses that already have a customer base of frequent users, but from which they're not making enough profit. So the pricing strategy we're going to use today is memberships, or more precisely VIP memberships. Now, because there's so much to say about memberships on their own as a pricing strategy, I made an entirely separate video for that to explain the mechanics and benefits of introducing memberships in your offer, which you can also find in the description. But today we're going to move straight into application. So for a quick recap, this is how it works. So customers pay an upfront fee to sign up and get a certain percentage discount on all the future purchases plus other benefits. So they end up using your service more often to take full advantage of all their benefits, or they simply enjoy the benefits without changing their usage habits. In any case, your business wins because first, you're charging way more than a price per bottle. You're charging based on the satisfaction of the rich segment market that you're serving. And secondly, you're getting paid upfront sign-up fees, which is pure profit because no product, no service has been exchanged at this point. And you can use this free profit however you want, either cutting costs by planning ahead or reinvesting into your business to command even higher prices. So now we're going to use the high margin wine bar, the restaurant, and the wide variety that this store has to craft a premium membership for rich, beginner wine enthusiasts. But first, let's look at the actual improvements made on the business, how much it ended up costing them, and just how much profit it can actually help them generate.
Oh my gosh. How are you?
Yeah,
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Looks great.
Unbelievable.
I am blown away by the transformation of this space. I've spent well over $300,000, but I wanted every square inch of this place redesigned so we can focus on high margin business. Our cluttered retail wine space has been cleaned up. We now highlight all of our offerings in display cases around the store. The new display makes it easier to navigate and find wines, especially the high margin ones. The new kitchen is great. I've given them the necessary space and equipment to produce more. The biggest change of all is the wine bar. It's no longer hidden in the back of the business. We now have a beautiful two-sided wine bar, and I've even tripled the amount of seating and added lounge chairs to create an open floor plan that finally unifies the retail business and the wine business into one, allowing us to serve more food and wine to our customers, ultimately increasing our revenue and our profits.
I actually think it came out better.
How's the family style feel?
Yeah.
So to serve rich beginner wine enthusiasts, here's what we're going to offer: an integrated wine bar and store experience designed to allow them to safely and expertly explore a wide variety of wines. So the standard offering of the new offer is $10 to $20 per guest, so 3 glasses of different wines, depending on the tier of wine they choose or that's recommended to them. They get a background story on the wine, what it goes well with, and how or when to best enjoy it. And then a 25% discount on the bottles that they've chosen. So this provides peace of mind that they'll be able to fully understand and compare a certain particular wine before making a final commitment to take it home. And then we have the VIP memberships with ongoing education, tasting events, and discounts. So the first tier is $1,000 per month, and they get the free flights of the 3 different glasses of wine every time they come for dinner, and ongoing 30% discounts on any bottles they take home. And then a monthly Wine Made Simple workshop, right? To accelerate their learning. So instead of only getting to know the wines that they get to test whenever they come for dinner, with this workshop, which is going to happen once a month, they get to learn about a specific group of wines or a specific category of wine and actually get or achieve real focused growth in the world of wine tasting. Because the standard offering is just like an introduction. But with this in the membership, we're really now getting into the transformation where we're taking rich beginner wine enthusiasts and making them into knowledgeable wine enthusiasts. So instead of only getting to know the wines that they get to try every time they come for dinner, they actually get a focused and accelerated growth in wine tasting. And the second tier of the premium membership includes all the benefits of the first one with an additional bring a friend free pass. So meaning every time they get the flights of curated wines, whoever they're dining with also gets the same. They can get 3 different wines, get to know them for free, and get the 25% discounts. And on top of that, the member gets free priority access to every tasting event that's going to be organized in the establishment throughout the whole year. And finally, they get a guidebook with everything they need to know about the stuff that they've been learning lately, with different pairings and different types of wines and how and what type of occasions to best enjoy them. And then the third tier at $3,000 per year includes all of the previous tiers benefits and all of that, with just more additional sharing stuff. You can bring more friends and more exclusivity, like first access to rare bottles. And then finally, the premium offer or the VIP offer of the premium membership is a personal wine concierge. So your personal wine guy is going to help you build your own personal portfolio of wines at home with a scheduled delivery of cases of wines based on your personal palates that you guys have been able to develop together. And a concierge hotline where you can basically text or call your wine guy anytime you need to for any sort of recommendation, whether you're having friends at home or whether you're even dining at a different restaurant or at a different events. So you can always call your wine guy to give you the best recommendations, so you always know what to expect and you always be able to be at the top of your game. And then a bunch of other more exclusivity benefits and all of that. Now, this can immediately start being offered to their client list, since they did say that they have an email list, which is perfect. So they can just right away start with an email campaign to the current client that they're already generating $3 million in sales from. And if we do the math, with their goal of making $400,000 profit per year, they would only need about 200 membership signups for the $2,000 a year offer, which is the mid offer, right? There's the $1,000 offer, there's the $3,000 offer, and then there's a $5,000 offer. So if we had to take an average of all these offers between $2,000 and $3,000, they would need 200 signups throughout the whole entire year to be able to generate the $400,000 profit that they're seeking to make. And remember, this is all profit because no service or anything has been exchanged yet. And even when the service ends up being exchanged, they're still going to be partially paid for it at 70%, at least for the bottles. And the rest is just information service, information product, which doesn't require any production costs or anything like that, or at least very little, negligible production costs. Now, if you're not making millions in sales, but rather you're actually struggling to increase your sales volume in the first place, you can find the case study I did for that particular situation in the description, and I'll see you on the next video.